Today, we're going to dive into something really powerful and maybe even deeply personal for you. What does it actually mean to be a woman chosen by God? We're going to walk through 7 specific signs that could mean there's a divine calling on your life. So, if you've ever felt like your journey was just different or maybe even a lot harder than everyone else's, then this is for you. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's just start with a truth that might hit really close to home. Being chosen isn't about looking perfect or having it all together, you know? In fact, a lot of the time, it feels chaotic. It can feel lonely, like everything is falling apart. And this quote just says it all. Maybe, just maybe, the mess you're in is actually part of the message.
So, does this question sound familiar? God, why me? Has that been the cry of your heart lately? When you look at all your struggles and you just wonder, why do I feel so singled out for all this hardship? Well, listen, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. That's not just some random feeling. It's often the sound of someone right in the middle of a deep spiritual process. And here is the single most important mindset shift we have to make. What feels like punishment is actually preparation. It's intense preparation. Think of it this way. You are being shaped and molded in private for a purpose that is going to be made public one day. All this struggle, it's just the training ground.
All right, so let's get into the first 2 signs. These really get to the heart of this difficult season. They often show up as this painful, isolating experience that our source actually calls the pain of preparation.
The very first sign is this feeling of being set apart. And a lot of the time, it's not by choice. Have you ever felt like you just don't quite fit in no matter how hard you try? You know, that sense of being different, feeling so restless in shallow conversations. That's it. That's the first mark of a calling. It's not a flaw, it's a feature. And you can see the contrast so clearly here. On one hand, it feels like rejection, right? It feels like loneliness. But what if it's actually divine separation? What if it's preparation for elevation? The idea is that God often isolates the people he's about to elevate. So that feeling of being separate isn't you failing to connect, it's actually part of the process. And this idea, it's rooted deep in Scripture. Jeremiah 1:5 tells us this separation isn't something that just happened. It was established before you were even born. So the point is, you didn't just stumble into this. He chose you first, and he marked you for a purpose that makes it impossible for you to just blend in with the crowd. Now, the second sign is just as intense. It's that you've been through some unusual pain, but it hasn't destroyed you. I mean, think about it. The deep betrayals, the crazy storms, the losses, things that honestly should have left you bitter and completely broken. And yet, somehow, you are still standing.
And why is that? How are you still here? Well, according to Romans 8:28, all of that pain has a purpose. None of it, not a single tear, is wasted. Every heartbreak was designed to build your compassion. Every rejection was meant to build your resilience. The enemy saw your potential and came for you, but those very wounds are now the proof of your call.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. We've talked about the external trials. Now let's look at what's happening on the inside. Signs 3, 4, and 5 are all about what our source calls the fire within. Have you ever tried to just walk away from your faith? Maybe you got tired or distracted and you thought, I'm done, only to find that the hunger for God just burns even hotter? That's sign number 3. It's this unexplainable, unquenchable fire. Even when you mess up, something deep inside always pulls you back. You just love God too much to quit for good. I mean, the prophet Jeremiah captured this feeling perfectly. He said it was like a fire shut up in his bones that he just couldn't hold in. See, this isn't a casual faith. It's an all-consuming passion that completely wrecks your comfort zone and separates you from just being lukewarm.
All right, now for a really challenging one. Sign number 4 is facing intense and consistent spiritual warfare. Does it feel like every single time you try to move forward in faith, something pushes back hard? This is not just a string of bad luck. This is direct spiritual resistance.
And here is the key, okay? The intensity of the battle often matches the weight of your calling. The enemy recognizes your assignment, sometimes even before you do. The attacks feel personal because, well, they are. You're seen as a threat. You're a weapon in the making.
You know, Ephesians reminds us that our fight isn't with other people. It's against these unseen spiritual forces. And just knowing that, it changes everything, doesn't it? It reframes your entire struggle. You're not just fighting to survive anymore, you are fighting for your destiny. And in a weird way, the warfare itself becomes the confirmation of your purpose.
Sign number 5 signals a huge internal shift. It's when you start to crave purity and purpose way more than you crave popularity.
The old desires, for hype, for attention, for gossip, they just start to feel so empty. You realize you would rather have peace with God than get applause from a crowd. And that is a massive sign of spiritual maturity. And that maturity leads us right into our final section. This is where that internal calling starts to show up on the outside. So let's look at the last two signs which really reveal the heart of your purpose. Sign number 6 is a profound, deep empathy. You don't just sympathize with people, you actually feel their pain like it's your own. Now listen to me. This is not a weakness. Our source calls it divine sensitivity. It's a tool, a gift that you've been given because you are meant to be a healer in this world. And finally, sign number 7, your focus completely shifts from boasting to building. You're not chasing the spotlight anymore. Instead, you have this deep drive to create something that has substance, to plant seeds that are going to produce fruit that lasts. While other people are performing, you are quietly building. So, let's bring this all together now. After the painful preparation, after the inner fire, and after the shaping of your heart, there comes a season. It's your season to rise. So just to recap real quick, here are the 7 signs we've covered. Being set apart, walking through unusual pain, carrying that fire for God, facing spiritual warfare, craving purity over popularity, feeling the pain of others, and focusing on building rather than boasting. And this right here, this is the main thing I want you to walk away with. If these signs are describing your life, it is time to stop seeing your journey as a punishment. Every lonely moment, every painful trial, it has all been your preparation for making a huge impact. This brings us to a really powerful call to action. All that time you were being shaped in private, that season is coming to an end. This is your moment to stop doubting, to stop downplaying your calling, and to start rising into the purpose that you have been so carefully prepared for. So we'll just leave you with this one question. After all the preparation, all the shaping, and all the fire, the call is being made. Heaven is calling you by name. And the only question left is, how will you answer?